Welcome to Land of the Bible. I'm David Sussman, your personal tour guide here in the land of Israel. And in today's episode, we are going to explore the Sea of Galilee. The Sea of Galilee is located in Israel's northern region, surrounded by the Galilean mountains to the west, the Golan Heights to the east, the Jordan River Valley to the south, and the Hula Valley to the north. It's Israel's largest body of fresh water, sitting along the Syrian-African Rift in a basin 700 feet below sea level, making it the lowest freshwater lake anywhere in the world. Surrounding the Sea of Galilee are important biblical sites, ancient archaeology, the modern city of Tiberias, important sites mentioned in the Christian scriptures, as well as the development of the kibbutz movement and modern Zionism. There's so much to do in and around this area, so join me as we explore the Sea of Galilee. We're here at Burko Park, which is just south of the city of Tiberias. The park itself has two components. One is a playground and jungle gym for kids, and the second, well, is the ruins you see behind me. These ruins date back to the beginning of the Common Era. After the death of King Herod, his kingdom is divided into three parts, one for each of his sons. Herod Antipas establishes his capital right here along the shores of the Sea of Galilee and names it after the Roman Emperor Tiberius. And Tiberias became one of the four holy cities of Israel, due to the fact that many of the great rabbis moved here. And you have the beginning of the Talmudic period, when the oral traditions, the oral Torah, was finally put down on parchment, which will become known as the Mishnah. And this is why Tiberias, until this very day, is a very meaningful and spiritual city. The city during this time, known as the Talmudic period, grew to become one of the most beautiful cities here in the land of Israel. And just standing here in the gate of this city is really quite an amazing experience. One of the reasons why Tiberias became so prosperous is that there are several hot springs here believed to have healing qualities to them. This brought travelers from far and wide who brought a significant amount of wealth. The expansion continued throughout the Roman period and even through the Byzantine period when Justinian expanded the city walls. However, in 749, during Arab rule of this land, there was a terrible earthquake that practically destroyed the entire city. Even though the residents tried to rebuild the city, it never returned to that former glory. During the Crusader period, they built strategic walls around the city to protect themselves. However, it wasn't enough for the Mamluk forces led by Baibars, who destroyed the Crusaders who were living here in Tiberias. After this, it became a small fishing village for several hundred years until a Jewish woman by the name of Donna Gracia came here and attempted to establish a Jewish autonomy here on the shores of the Sea of Galilee. One of the things I love about Israel is how we're constantly keeping that connection between our present-day realities and our ancient existence here in our land. And Burko Park is no exception. As I mentioned, that other component is this modern playground you can see behind me where the kids come from all over to play while looking at those ruins that we just walked through, which is a daily reminder of our historical connection to our land. There are many famous rabbis who are buried in the city of Tiberias, the Ramchal, Rambam, Rabbi Bolognese, but my favorite is Rebbe Akiva, who's buried right here behind me. People come from all over in order to pray by his grave. Rebbe Akiva teaches a very important lesson. As he lived nearly 2,000 years ago, he's quoted often in our Talmud. You see, Rebbe Akiva could not read or write at the age of 40. When he went to marry a woman by the name of Rachel, she said, "If you can't read or write, how will you teach our children the ways of God, His holy scripture?" He said, "Don't worry, Rachel, I'll learn." And as he tried, he just couldn't make it. And he said something which all of us have probably said once or twice in our life: "I'm stupid. I can't do it. Ah, how awful." He ran into the middle of the woods and sat by a waterfall where he saw the water rushing down, and he noticed that one drop of water consistently dropped through a hole in the rock. And then it happened. He had an epiphany. He realized that that water had burrowed that hole in the rock, and he thought to himself, wow, if water, which is soft, can burrow a hole through rock, which is hard, then if I'm also consistent like that water, I will be able to learn the Holy Scripture. And he never gave up. He went back to school. He cracked open the books. And sure enough, he became one of the greatest rabbis of all time.
There are moments in life that define you and leave you forever transformed. Like a once-in-a-lifetime journey to the source of your faith. Walk in the steps of Jesus and experience history beyond its words. Sail the ancient Sea of Galilee to the holy shores of the River Jordan. Your journey begins here.
The second wave of Jews returning to their land, known as the Second Aliyah, was primarily made up of secular men. These men were hopping from farm to farm looking for work. However, it soon became apparent that there were more men than jobs available, and that if they were to succeed, they would need to establish their own farms and communities. However, they weren't quite sure how to do this. They looked for advice and for help. That's when Arthur Rupin stepped up to the plate and established the Kinneret Courtyard. It became an incubator of ideas, and many of the modern labor Zionists came here, lived here, learned here, and discussed ideas here. From this moment forward, the kibbutz movement would develop, an idea that no man was greater than the person next to them, and that you did whatever you were capable of doing, that work became the focus of your life, and that by binding together, you become more efficient as well as being able to protect one another. And from this ideology, these Jews were able to develop the kibbutzes and the communities that surround the Kinneret as well as the Jordan Valley. on the southwestern shores of the Sea of Galilee is the Kinneret Cemetery. Here, laid to rest, are some of the early labor Zionists, those who helped develop the Jordan Valley and the kibbutzes around the shores of the Sea of Galilee. One of them in particular, who's probably more famous than all of them put together, is Rachel, the poetess. Born in Russia, the granddaughter of a great rabbi from Kiev. She came here at the age of 19, and she fell in love with this area. However, she was offered a scholarship to study both art and agronomy in France. When she went, World War I broke out, and she became stuck in Europe. During those years, she unfortunately contracted tuberculosis, and when she returned to Israel, she no longer could work the way she used to in the kibbutz. Since she couldn't work there, she wasn't allowed to stay. So she went to live in Tel Aviv for a while and later on in Jerusalem, where she wrote poems, this longing desire to return to the land around the Sea of Galilee. Many of those poems became songs that are part of Israel's history. So important was Rachel that Israel decided to put her face, her image, on our 20 shekel note. As you can see from her grave, lots of stones have been placed on top of it, which is a Jewish custom. And this is because Rachel is still famous, nearly 75 years after her passing. As far as lodging is concerned, here around the Sea of Galilee, there are a variety of options to choose from beautiful hotels located in the city of Tiberias to more country-style lodging at the 12 kibbutzim that are located around the shore. Here at Kibbutz Degania, they don't just offer accommodations for families and groups, but they also offer the experience of what it's like to live on a kibbutz. Once on the kibbutz, it's like you're part of the family immediately. You eat in the dining hall with them, you use all the same facilities, the swimming pool, the gymnasium, the beautiful parks here. It's a great place for kids. But that's not all. They also give you a tour of the kibbutz on a club car through the agricultural fields and some of the historical buildings that are here, including a restoration of one of the original homes of the founding members of the kibbutz. Let's head out now and check out this beautiful kibbutz here in Degania. So these are all banana trees right here. It's very pastoral here. Yeah. It's really beautiful. You know, one of the things I'm amazed about here in Israel is how the agricultural fields are constantly changing. In America, you'll have hundreds of miles of cornfields, and here, you're lucky if you have 1 mile of the same type of produce, you know, dates, bananas, avocados, oranges. Wow. So cool, the tour of the kibbutz brings you to the original location where the founding members established Kibbutz Degania over 100 years ago in 1910. To celebrate the centennial, they reconstructed one of the original homes that those founding members lived in, that you can see behind me. Wow, this is really neat. You know, one of the reasons why those original settlers came here is that when the Jordan River exits the Kinneret and heads towards the Jordan Valley, it passes through this area. Let's now drive on over to a section where there's an overlook where you can actually see the Jordan River. Wow, beautiful. This is incredible. The Jordan River, the mighty Jordan. Of course, it doesn't look so mighty today. That's because we've tamed the river. It's not the same river from 2,000 years ago or 3,500 years ago when the Israelites crossed the Jordan River into the Promised Land. Rather, it's been tamed by a dam that was built in the 1930s to control the flow of water that left the Sea of Galilee into the Jordan River and towards the Dead Sea. The Sea of Galilee, the largest source of fresh water in Israel then, as well as today. When people think of chocolate, they think of Belgium, not Israel. But that's all changing now, as there's a chocolate revolution sweeping throughout the land of Israel. And it all began with a woman by the name of Galita, who studied chocolate making in Belgium for 3 years before returning to Israel and opening up this factory here on Kibbutz Dagania. In addition to the beautiful products they have for sale here and the fresh-made ice cream, she also offers an opportunity for visitors and tourists from abroad to learn about chocolate making from bean to chocolate bar, as well as participating in a variety of workshops where you get to make your own chocolate bar. This is a great activity to do while visiting here on the Sea of Galilee and, of course, here at Kibbutz Dagania.
There are moments in life that define you and leave you forever transformed. Like a once-in-a-lifetime journey to the source of your faith. Walk in the steps of Jesus and experience history beyond its words. Sail the ancient Sea of Galilee to the holy shores of the River Jordan. Your journey begins here.
There are several sites around the Sea of Galilee that are extremely important to Christians, but I can't think of any that's more important than the Galilean baptismal site at Yardenit. Let's now meet with one of the representatives. We're now joined by Shachar, who's a representative of the kibbutz as well as the baptismal center. Shachar, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, David. Pleasure being here.
So tell us a little why this place is so important for Christians.
Well, it says on the New Testament that Jesus came from the Galilee to the Jordan River and got baptized. We have about 12 spots where they can separately go in the water and have a ceremony, or have one major ceremony, like we had last March by a pastor from Indonesia who baptized 1,000 believers at once.
So basically you offer a safe environment for Christians to come and to baptize themselves here in the Jordan River.
That's correct, yes.
Do you offer any type of shopping, an opportunity for people to buy memorabilia to take home with them?
Absolutely. We have about a 500 square meters gift shop that consists of gifts from the river, like holy water. We also are known for our dates and date honey that is also called biblical honey. And we also have a restaurant here.
Wow, excellent. So what kind of food do you serve at the restaurant?
Well, normally people that come to our region would like to experience a biblical lunch called St. Peter's fish lunch, and we offer that as well in our restaurant.
Is the water clean?
Well, I'll tell you a little secret. The water here is one of the cleanest one in Israel. It's sweet water running from the Sea of Galilee.
Well, I hope you get lots of visitors here, Christians from around the world who come and baptize themselves here in the Jordan River. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. It was great having you.
The Galilean baptismal site here at Yardenit was a joint project between the Ministry of Tourism as well as Kibbutz Kinneret. And they offer special areas geared towards specific Christian groups, areas for Protestants and evangelicals as well as Catholics who want to have Mass and renew their baptismal vows. Let's now head out and see some more of the sites here along the Sea of Galilee. The fact that the Sea of Galilee is the largest source of fresh water here in the land of Israel was not lost on those early pioneers. They immediately began to use its water to cultivate land that surrounded the shores of the sea. And just look at some of those beautiful agricultural fields behind me. However, in the 1950s, then Prime Minister Levi Eshkol, who was a member of Kibbutz Dagania that we visited earlier, realized that this water could be used to irrigate other parts of our country. They immediately began to construct the National Water Carrier, a pumping station which is located just behind me, to pump out water and distribute it to other parts of our country. By the 1960s, the Kinneret was providing over half of our fresh water consumption. However, today, the Kinneret only provides roughly about 10%, and this is due to the fact that Israel has made tremendous advancements in the areas of desalination and water conservation. Even though we still siphon off an incredible amount of water from the Kinneret, and this is due to the fact that we provide the Kingdom of Jordan, our neighbor to the east, with over 50 million cubic liters of water every single year. And this is because of the peace treaty that we signed with them in 1994. As a result, the Kinneret is always staying at a threshold that is really dangerous. Because if the Kinneret continues to recede, it could lose the equilibrium that prevents the salt water from springs underneath the Kinneret from rising up, salinating the entire sea, and leaving it obsolete for drinking. This would be horrible. So what Israel is going to do is to build a desalination plant for Jordan in the Gulf of Aqaba, releasing the pressure from Israel from pumping so much water from the Kinneret and allowing it to rise to its natural level.
There are moments in life that define you and leave you forever transformed. Like a once-in-a-lifetime journey to the source of your faith. Walk in the steps of Jesus and experience history beyond its words. Sail the ancient Sea of Galilee to the holy shores of the River Jordan. Your journey begins here.
One of the great activities to do on the Sea of Galilee at night or even during the daytime is to come to Lido Beach, which is right next to the restaurant Decks, in order to sail out into the middle of the sea and get these beautiful panoramic views, 360 degrees of the Golan Heights, the Arbel Cliffs, and the Naphtali Ridge. But that's not all. The Lido fleet is the largest here on the Sea of Galilee, and when they put all their boats together, they can accommodate groups up to 3,000 people. But they can also handle small groups. Their boats are equipped with DJs for live music and are large enough to have elegant dinners or lunches while sailing on the Sea of Galilee. And that's why many people who are celebrating their wedding, bar bat mitzvahs, or really any special occasion will come here to Lido Beach in order to enjoy the Sea of Galilee. Right in the heart of the city of Tiberias is a fascinating museum dedicated to the life and times of Donna Gracia. This woman was born to a Jewish family that was forced to convert to Christianity during the Spanish Inquisition, which began in 1492. It wasn't even revealed to Donna that she was Jewish till much later in life. At that point, her and her husband, who amassed a great amount of wealth, worked endlessly to save Jewish people from the Inquisition and really from anti-Semitism around the world. However, her greatest accomplishment had to have been securing land here in Tiberias from the Suleiman the Magnificent, who was the king of the Ottoman Empire, through a series of bribes. Once she was given the land, she built synagogues, schools, homes, even a mikveh, a ritual bath for Jewish women. The museum has several rooms, each one dedicated to a different time in Donna's life. They have beautiful models and displays that gives the visitor a better idea of how she was able to accomplish everything that she did. But that's not all. They also have an amazing amount of costumes where you can dress the way that the people did back in those times. This is an amazing place to bring your family, especially if you have daughters, to celebrate what this amazing woman has done for the Jewish people. The best restaurant around the entire Sea of Galilee is located in the city of Tiberias. It's called decks. The reason why, it's built out on a series of decks that extend on top of the Sea of Galilee. But the reason why it's so popular is that the food is absolutely amazing. Dishes like filet mignon, rack of lamb ribs, sirloin, lamb chops, short ribs, the freshest fish. The place is amazing. In fact, it's so popular, you never know who will show up for dinner. In fact, I was here once with a group of tourists from New York. None other than the Prime Minister himself showed up with his wife for supper. I'm going to sit back and enjoy this incredible meal, but stay tuned as we continue. Join us next time on Land of the Bible as we head deep into the Negev desert to learn about the incense route from thousands of years ago. Isn't the Sea of Galilee just absolutely beautiful? What a tremendous day today has been as we visited many of the important sites that line the shores of the Sea of Galilee. Thank you for watching Land of the Bible. And remember, I'm David Sussman, your personal tour guide here in the land of Israel. And make sure to join us next time as we connect you to the people, places, and land of the Bible.